Hi, I'm Ross Jacobs. Today's video is the first of a small series on the subject of feel. I've been trying to do this video for maybe 3 months, and this is about my 4th attempt. Every time I started, I realized just how complicated an area this is. And so I stop and I have to think about it again. But I also realize how important this is, and how contentious it is, and how people struggle with the whole idea of feel. So I've decided what I'm going to do is do 2 or 3 videos on it and discuss different aspects. This one, the first one, is really going to be about the very basics. Just the basic things you have to understand about feel in order to then understand the videos that are going to come after. So I'm first going to begin with just asking the question. I guess the first thing we have to understand is, what is the purpose of feel? Because if we understand the purpose, then we can understand what it actually is, define what it is. I've said many times that clarity brings comfort to a horse, and a lack of clarity is a form of emotional abuse. So, in my view, the role of feel in horse training is to bring a maximum amount of clarity to what we're asking. It clearly tells the horse what is our intent when we apply a pressure. That's why it's so important, because the better feel you have, the clearer you are. So now that we understand the purpose of feel, we can now define what it actually is. So in my opinion, feel is the way we both apply pressure and the way we remove pressure. Notice I said the way we remove pressure as well. A lot of people just associate feel with the way we apply pressure, the way we impose ourselves on a horse. But part of the deal is also the way we remove pressure. That also requires substantial feel. So feel is made up of different components. It's made up of the amount of pressure we use. It's also made up of the speed and the abruptness with which we use it, how smooth we are with it. And it's also a major component to talk about timing of our pressure. So the timing of how we apply pressure and the timing of how we remove pressure. These are all essential components. The other thing about feel is that it has both physical and emotional components. So I can apply feel using a physical object, a tool, such as my legs or my whip or my lead rope or my reins. But I can also apply it remotely just by a look. I can apply it when I ask my horse to hook on in a round yard. These are other ways we can apply feel. They're not actually a physical contact, but they're more a mental and emotional contact. And horses do it to each other all the time. They're very good at applying this feel just through a look, a pinning of the ears, a change in their posture, tossing of their head. These things matter to a horse, and when we apply them, they matter to the horse just as much. And so we need to learn to control those things. I'm going to talk about some of these things in upcoming videos. So please be patient and bear with me and follow through with watching the following videos that will be done in the next few weeks. When it comes to feel, one of the most contentious issues is whether or not a person is born with a natural ability to have feel, or it's a skill they learn over time and with work. People argue about this and they take very strong views on it. I think both are true. I think a person has to learn feel. I don't think anybody is born with an automatic understanding or a propensity to apply feel in a way that is good to animals. You only have to look at toddlers, the way they pet on a dog. They tend to whack them. Very rarely do they touch the dog with any sort of feel that is good to the dog. But as they grow, they learn to do that. And people are the same. But there is no doubt there are some people that just pick it up much quicker than others. But I do believe everyone can learn it. If you can drive a car, you've developed feel. If you can control a shopping trolley, you've developed feel. If you can walk through a train station, crowded train station, without getting trodden on, you've developed feel. Everybody has the capacity to learn it, but some will be quicker and will be better at it than others, just like most skills in life. I think it begins with a really acute awareness of the horse's language, both his physical and emotional language. They express themselves through body language. And so we need to be very good at both observing it and interpreting it. And if you're not, then you'll never develop feel. Because feel is something that needs to be adjusted from moment to moment, because a horse is telling you things every moment. So when you're working with a horse, observing everything from the fact that he's bucking to the fact that one nostril's tighter than the other, or the tail is slightly kinked, or his blink reflex is changed, or that he's holding his ribs slightly differently on one side to the other, that the feet are hitting the ground a little softer or a little harder, where he's looking, how busy are his ears, how quiet are his ears. These things tell you a lot. And so our ability to see these things gives us the ability to have feel, or to learn feel. If we don't see them, then we can't offer a horse good feel, because we just don't understand what he's saying, and we can't present things in a way that are clear to him. When he tells us he's confused, we need to present it in a way with enough feel that clears up that confusion for him. So feel is something that is learned, and it comes from observation and understanding of what a horse is telling you, and he never stops telling you. I did a video on working with a horse is a constant conversation, and if you're not clear what I'm talking about in this regard, have a look at that video, and I'll put a link in the description below to that. So it's behaving on us to get really good at observing horses. And then from there, work and work and work at trying to develop better feel. How we apply pressure, how we remove pressure. That's really what it's about. In coming videos, I'm going to talk a little bit, I'm going to use some examples and talk a little bit about what it looks like when you apply feel in different ways. And then I'm going to talk about some of the elements of feel, such as presenting feel in an even or an uneven fashion, the idea of contact and what that really means, because that's a lot about feel. Contact is all about feel. So I want to talk about those things in coming videos. Until then, good night, Alice, wherever you are.